Thomas charging through the midfield. Thomas, it's up for grabs now. Thomas, right at the end.
Stirring memories of an unforgettable night at Anfield. Michael Thomas, who delivered the most timely punchline in the history of league football, has changed sides. Now part of Graham Souness's new look Liverpool, preparing for another grandstand finish, with Thomas providing the hardcore in midfield. He's taken over the Steve McMahon role.
And Thomas!
Well, Thomas's former club, well, they're out of it realistically, but as far as the top two in the Barclays League are concerned, the last team they want to see closing in and getting stronger all the time is Liverpool. Right, Graham?
I would say that's 100% true, but I mean, we're not going to talk about we're going to do this or we're going to do that. We've had our problems this year. The last time we thought we'd turned the corner and we thought we were playing well was the week of Peterborough in the Rumbelows Cup, and I think everyone knows what happened there. So we're just trying to keep our heads down, continue to work hard as we have been, and take our chances. I believe if we play, then we're the best.
Delighted to be here, along with the manager of the leaders of the First Division, Alex Ferguson. Very good evening to you, Alex. What about that point? You don't want Liverpool getting too close to you, do you?
Well, we don't want anyone close, I suppose, but it's a big test from tonight, actually, because Graham's made a point that when they're at their best, they think they are the best. But they haven't beaten anyone in the top 9 in the league all season, so that tells the story.
Well, if they beat Arsenal tonight, as Alex says, it will be the first time they've beaten the team in the top 9 all season. A remarkable fact. Let's join our commentators, Kevin Keegan and Brian Moore.
Thanks, Elton. Quickly, a check on the teams then. Liverpool with Bruce Grobbelaar in goal, 2 Rob Jones, 3 Ronnie Rosenthal, 4 Steve Nicol, 5 Mark Wright, the captain, 6 Nicky Tanner, 7 Dean Saunders, 8 Ray Houghton, 9 Mark Walters, who replaces Steve McManaman, 10 in the absence of injured John Barnes, it's Jan Mulvey, 11 Michael Thomas, swapping the red of Arsenal for the red of Liverpool. Liverpool line up with Nicol at left back, Mulvey at centre midfield, Walters on the left of midfield, and Rosenthal up front with Saunders. And a new name in the Arsenal side tonight, 18-year-old Ray Parlour from Romford. He comes into their midfield. Paul Davis and David Hillier both injured. It's a real testing first game for him. Arsenal then with David Seaman in goal, 2 Lee Dixon, 3 Nigel Winterburn, 4 is Parlour, 5 David O'Leary, 6 Tony Adams, 7 David Rocastle, 8 Ian Wright, 9 Alan Smith, 10 Paul Merson, and 11 Jimmy Carter, formerly of Millwall and of Liverpool too. So Parlour's surprise in midfield. He's yet to get a first team game alongside Rocastle. Steve Bold is fit again, he's a sub. O'Leary and Adams continue at the heart of defence. Well, our referee tonight is Michael Reid of Birmingham, just about ready to get this game at Anfield underway. A cold night, but a clear night, a perfect pitch, and a wonderful stage for both these sides. And a quick touch here for the Arsenal goalkeeper, David Seaman. Arsenal in their change strip of yellow, attacking the goal to our right. Right with a little touch. Here's Mulvey. That's so characteristic all the time, although the hustle and bustle of the early moments of the game. Mulvey always makes his own time. Here's Mark Wright. To Rob Jones. Let's take a quick check on the 2 subs then tonight. Marsh and McManaman for Liverpool, Bold and Groves for Arsenal. And Liverpool really stalking this championship again. Leeds and Manchester United know that the chase is truly on now, and by their own formidable standards, Liverpool's charge is really impressive. Just 1 defeat in their last 18 games, and they've won 11 of those 18. That really is some charge. They clearly enjoy the taste of championship champagne, and there's no doubt that over the last few months Graham Souness has felt that he needs to make adjustments here, and he appears to be making them very effectively indeed. Holby's free kick. Mark Walters up there on this left side of midfield. O'Leary getting it away for Arsenal. And Tanner, a miscue by Tanner. It might let Alan Smith in now for Arsenal. He's still got a lot of work to do, but he's got right up there with him. Merson on the far side. Here's Jimmy Carter. cut out by Tanner, whose early mistake it was, and it's not a corner. Lee Dixon with the throw for Arsenal, the clock in full voice then behind Grobbelaar's goal. Long throw. Now it is a corner for Arsenal. It came off Steve Nicol. Graham Soon is saying that he had to fear the likes of David O'Leary and the Arsenal team tonight. He felt that after a poor run that they're always going to be dangerous, and when they are hurt, they've still got class, and they're going to come fighting back here tonight. And it has been a very un-Arsenal-like sequence of late for them. Nicol with the header there, up goes Saunders, just gets a yard or two on it. Here's the first touch there for Ray Parlour, and not a bad touch either. A good ball played down to the left-hand side, and it might come right across the face of that Arsenal goal, and they're not finished yet. Carter with a yes, the whistle's gone. But what an excellent first touch in an Arsenal first-team shirt for the 18-year-old boy from Romford, Ray Parlour.
Well, it's the sort of thing he would dream about, Brian. You know, what a game this is to play your first game. You know, you're thrown in at the deep end. And your first touch to knock a ball the sort of ball you expect a world-class player to knock, that'll give him tremendous confidence, and hopefully, although I'm a Liverpool fan, as everyone will appreciate, hopefully they'll do him the world of good. He's a young lad with obviously a bright future ahead of him.
Tiny mistake there by Lee Dixon. Yes, George Graham was telling me an hour or so before the start, he said, make no mistakes about it, he has got tremendous potential, this Ray Parlour. And the other lads were saying that there's no doubt about his temperament, it's first class. Well, here's Houghton playing it wide on the far side. Winterburn getting in well for Arsenal. I think it was Winterburn who picked up the ball from Parlour's pass. Tanner playing it there for Michael Thomas. Here's Molby again. Molby incidentally being watched tonight up on this gantry by the Danish team manager, Rosenthal, getting away. But Molby, who has not played in the Danish national side for the last 18 months, he's got a tremendous incentive here tonight because the manager's already had a word with him and said, look, I'm watching you with a chance of getting back into the national side.
I don't think that'll change too much the way he plays, though, Brian. He's got one way of playing, he does it very well, and he's been very instrumental in a lot of the good things that Liverpool have done in the later stages of the season so far.
David Seaman for Arsenal, 28-year-old Yorkshireman. Smith beating Tanner in the air, Wright trying to make the most of it. It came back from Nicol. Rob Jones up to Rosenthal. There's Thomas hustled off the ball there by Rocky Rocastle. Molby's long floating free kick. A good jump there by Mark Walters and nodded back by David O'Leary.
There's a lot of very interesting things in this game, Brian. You've got Thomas playing against his old club. You've got the reverse situation with Carter. And obviously, if any club in recent years have had a bit of a run on Liverpool, it has been Arsenal, as we know. So there's a lot of scores to settle there. And right from the word go, both teams are going full at it.
Right apart from that famous victory with the last kick of the championship in 1989, Arsenal in fact completed the double over Liverpool last season, and that doesn't happen very often from anyone. 3-0 at Highbury, 1-0 up here with Paul Merson's goal. Here's Houghton. Trying to slide the ball through, and the surface has just got a bit of gloss on it now. There's a bit of frost coming down on a very cold night up here on Merseyside, and that's giving a bit of gloss to the surface and a bit of pace to the ball, and a bit of pace from Merson down that left flank. Thomas caught by Rocastle again. Carter trying to get in to repair that damage. O'Leary playing it wide for Dixon. Dixon hitting it long again towards Alan Smith. Smith again winning it in the air against Tanner. And Nicol getting it.
I feel looking at this surface, Brian, that it'll be the sort of surface that most of the forwards would like to play on. The ball zips off it. You know, if your first touch is good, which you'd expect it to be of players of this class, then it's going to suit you. But obviously, from a defending point of view, it just makes you a little bit wary, a little slip, a little mistake at this level, and it could be a goal. So, it makes for attacking play.
Here's Houghton. Finding Michael Thomas. Rob Jones with the throw, finding Ray Houghton. Smith will collect this one. Little touch, and Rocastle's on his way again. Lovely touch again by Rocastle. Smith with Ian right in the middle, but I think he's played that just a little too firmly forward. But Tanner had to get across there at the expense of a corner.
What a great signing he's been for Liverpool, Brian. You keep saying about £20,000 from Bristol Rovers. I mean, Kenny Dalglish certainly saw a talent there that probably nobody else saw. And he's blossomed. He's had 22 games this year, and he's been one of the star players.
Well, here's a corner for Arsenal, which Paul Merson will take. Floated deep. Grobbelaar a good, safe catch. High above his head. Right. Yes. Saunders' pass not likely to reach Mark Walters, cut out by David O'Leary. About Liverpool's record, Arsenal, really their title aspirations slipped and crashed over the last 3 months. 20 points behind the leaders, Manchester United now. 2 wins only in their last 14 games. That's a very un-Arsenal-like sequence. But if their season's in ruins, they know that they can regain an awful lot of credibility just by getting an excellent result here against Liverpool tonight. And I think it's Manchester United they play at the weekend as well. Newcastle. Holby getting there just before Parlour. Forward to Houghton. Playing it wide for Saunders, who's stretched onto that far side now. Rosenthal's in the middle. Here's Ronnie Rosenthal looking for this one, and it just cleared him, and they get it back again. Rosenthal, and he knocked it into the side netting now. Whether the whistle had gone before Rosenthal's final header, I don't know, but it's a goal kick for Arsenal. Dean Saunders' cross just cleared Rosenthal's head here.
It's one of those tantalising crosses where the keeper doesn't know whether to come or not, Brian, but I think it was just
It had just gone. Saunders from Houghton's little header there. Good challenge, though, by Tony Adams. Merson taking it up again. Terrific pace about this game at the moment, and a lot of penetration from both sides here. As Kevin was saying, the pitch encouraging good attacking play, and that's what we're getting in abundance at the moment. A foul there by Carter. Played just a handful of games in his career as a Liverpool player. Jimmy Carter, formerly with Millwall, but on his day, a really good, sprightly and skillful and wily winger. Mark Walters will take this up again. A tiny mistake there by Dixon, but Dixon getting back into the fray now. And a foul by Mark Walters on Lee Dixon, Arsenal's free kick.
Just got frightening pace, Mark Walters, and if ever he gets the... I mean, when we saw him play at West Ham, they were putting 2 men behind him, and I think if ever he could use that to the advantage of his team by moving the ball quickly sometimes, I think he would be a more valuable player to the Reds, you know, at Liverpool, because they do really fear his pace.
David Seaman's long kick. Mark Wright's header. Wright getting it back again. But there's a much more comfortable, authoritative look about Liverpool's defence with Wright backing it after that long way off from injury. And here's Stevie Nicol. Thomas playing it for Walters. Crossed by him towards Saunders, but again Adams got a valuable header in for Arsenal. Saunders again, touching the header down. The pace is terrific. And there's Dixon's ball. Ball controlled there by Smith. Finding Parler. And an offside against Ian Wright.
I think one of the tremendous things about Big Alan Smith is that for a big man, he's got a remarkably good first touch. He reminds me a little bit, for the people old enough to remember, it's not that long ago, John Toshak did for a big man, who actually played here obviously for about 12 years.
Saunders. Saunders again, falling for Carter. Up to Smith once again. Right very close to him though. Rocastle, superb ball. Merson is through on Grobbelaar. And great work by Grobbelaar. Oh, Merson scored the winner here last season after being put through with a superlative ball there by Rocky Rocastle. Here he is again. And a foul there by his former Arsenal teammate Michael Thomas. But what a ball that was by Rocastle.
I don't think Merson did anything wrong, Brian. He took it in his stride. He did everything right. I think you've got to give full credit there to a great save from Bruce Grobbelaar.
Winterburn up to Merson. We'll have a look at that again in a moment. At the moment, though, it's Michael Thomas for Arsenal to Houghton. Stopped again by Rocastle. Long ball. Rosenthal's chasing it, but O'Leary, with that vast experience of his, didn't take his eye off it for a moment, even though Rosenthal was charging like a bull towards it. In goes Parler, dispossesses Houghton. Rocastle couldn't get a touch on that one. Mulby playing it in again, trying to get Mark Walters through for Liverpool. Into the path of Rosenthal, in turn trying to get Nicol through, but it's just played a little too firmly. And the flag was up in any case, but let's look again at that terrific Grobbelaar save a moment ago from Paul Merson. There's the ball from Rocastle.
He takes it brilliantly in his stride. He's thinking now. He's waiting for Bruce to do something. He tries to flick it over him, and to Bruce's great credit, he got a hand up and made a terrific save.
Foul given against Alan Smith. Mulby's touch now. Right, getting it wide for Rob Jones. Rosenthal again. Houghton playing it in towards Saunders. Seaman could take no chances there. It was a good hefty fist away. Quarter of an hour gone, and the score at Anfield remains Liverpool 0, Arsenal 0. Nikitana. Another good ball given away very badly there to Paul Merson. Can't be so dangerous when he swoops in from that left flank. As Winterburn planting the ball in towards Wright, and another great save by Grobbelaar.
Looks like Bruce is after some more champagne. And remember last game we did, he got man of the match. Terrific save.
Merson's injured at the moment. Yes, Grobbelaar man of the match in our last live game when we were working together, Kevin, at West Ham, and he deserved it that afternoon. It looks as though he's in the mood for some more tonight, as you say. Merson's still down, and I think the referee now deciding that Gary Lewin should come on and offer some treatment. It looks as though Mulby could be in a bit of trouble. Maybe it was a Mulby challenge on Merson. Maybe he just said something to the ref. At any rate, it looks as though it ends in smiles.
I think Mulby's a bit upset because the referee really, it was an advantage having played on. Liverpool had a man extra, but difficult one for the referee. But the player could have been badly injured for all he knows. If he'd let the game go on then, he would have been criticised for that.
Let's look at the Grobbelaar save again. Wright's header Because I tell you, that ball gained a bit of pace off the turf as well, Kevin, you know.
He did everything right. He headed it down. Bruce couldn't come. He had to be a goal saver, not a goalkeeper in that case, and he did it very well. He made the right decision. Goalkeepers don't always make the right decision, but on that occasion he was quite right. He couldn't come for that cross. It was too good.
Foul by Walters. Always love watching Bruce Grobbelaar, but he never seems to play the same way twice. The last game, I think it was against Oldham, he was flapping all over the place and might well have been responsible for a couple of Oldham goals that day. Liverpool won the game in the end, but it wasn't one of Bruce's better games. He neatly takes that one.
I think he's always going to have his critics, Brian, just simply by the way he plays, but he's certainly a character. And people say sometimes there's not enough characters in the game. Well, here we've got one who's more than life-size. And I think you've got to take the rough with the smooth with him. There's a lot of smooth. There's bound to be a bit of rough edging.
A foul on Ian Wright. There's some good work again there by young Ray Parlour. A free kick to Arsenal. O'Leary planting it through. Carter's touch. Burn. It's good control again by Smith. Urson picking it up well again in his stride. Forcing his way right the way through. Here's Ian Wright. The red shirts really had to gather quickly on the edge of that Liverpool penalty area to hold off Arsenal again there. And a long ball releasing Dean Saunders on the far side. Rosenthal waiting in the middle. Dixon got the touch. And one of the Arsenal players has gone off with an injury at the moment. It's Saunders on the far side, turning it back in again. Rocastle's gone right back there. I think it's David O'Leary. They've got Steve Bold as one of their substitutes, so if David has to go off, got a ready-made replacement. I think O'Leary wants to come on. I think the signal is probably for Steve Bold to start warming up. In the meantime, it's Liverpool coming forward as Houghton finds Nicol. This comes in there. Across the face of the Arsenal goal, once again from Michael Thomas. And O'Leary is back on the field. David O'Leary is today playing his 699th game for Arsenal. He's already got the records for appearances in an Arsenal first team. In fact, I think I'm right in saying only George Armstrong, that wonderful winger from the 1970s, only he and David have played over 600 games for Arsenal. And David now on the verge of getting into the 700s. 33 years old. In goes Rob Jones. Dixon. Wright tussling there with Wright. Two Wrights, Ian and Mark. Houghton up to Rosenthal. It's a really busy game, this, Kevin, isn't it?
He's started off at tremendous pace, and you can see the young lad in there, Parlour. He's just trying to get a gauge of how the game's going, and he's frantically running around, which he can do very well. He's a very athletic-looking lad, but he can't get to the pace of the game at the moment. And I mean, you can't blame him. He's not played anything quite as frantic as this.
Colby, long range. That's true. And also, the lad had a cartilage operation in September. I think he's only played about 8 or 9 reserve games as Ray Parlour since then. And Steve Bold now warming up. So I think probably the injury, and there's no doubt about it that O'Leary is hobbling a little. And we think it's a sprained ankle.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't run them off, Brian. Once you've done that, it's, you know, it's good night Vienna as far as the game goes. But aren't they fortunate? They take off O'Leary and they bring on a player with class of ball.
I fancy George Graham probably didn't want to change a side that hadn't conceded a goal in the last couple of games and started to pull things around a little bit. And O'Leary had been playing well, but I think a lot of people will recognise that the bold Adams combination at the back is probably the cornerstone of so much of Arsenal's defending. Good work there by Michael Thomas. And Steve Bold had some 4 games out with a groin injury after missing a lot of the start of this season through a shin injury. Back alongside Tony Adamson. Mark Wright coming forward for Liverpool. Mulvey. Jones. Still 0-0 here at Anfield. Good jump and header away by Tony Adams. And halfway through the first half, Liverpool 0, Arsenal 0. Towards Jimmy Carter. Nichols after him. Supported by Walters. But Nichols not out of the wood yet. Dixon can hurl a good long throw, as we've already seen tonight. They're waiting for Steve Bold to get forward. Good long Dixon throw. Malcolm getting it away after Tanner was called a little bit off balance. Walters kicking it out. Good backward header there by Dean Saunders. In comes Winterburn. Adams for Arsenal. Tanner for Liverpool. Adams again. Carter. Dixon. Away goes Smith running well. And Tanner. Oh, only just reached Grobbelaar with it.
I think Tanner's finding Alan Smith a bit of a handful early on. He's had a lot of success in the air against him. He's controlled it well. He's a handful for anybody, but Tanner's had a great season so far. This would be probably one of his sternest tests. This lad, Alan Smith, he's certainly got it all as far as I'm concerned for a front man.
Rosenthal. Smith. Here's Carter. He's found Alan Smith. Winterburn almost got it back as well. Mark Wright, a good interception for Liverpool. And then tries away on the far side for Michael Thomas. Now Jan Mulvey. Switching it now to this left-hand side. Nicol then getting it through to Mark Walters. Nicol. The challenge by Adams. Rocastle. Out by Houghton. And all this to a roaring accompaniment from right around this Anfield ground. Great atmosphere. And Nicol getting a corner out of Arsenal. It came off Lee Dixon. Up there for it. Saunders with the corner. Deep towards Mark Wright. Smith now picking it up for Arsenal. Oh, nice little ball there, played for Parler. Now let's see what he can do with this one. Well, he's played a good ball this time for Jimmy Carter. And Parler's continued his run as well. And again, Grobbelaar's there, but he didn't handle that quite so tidily.
Very difficult one for a goalkeeper, Brian. On a surface like this, like we've been talking about before, he's got to come, he's got to make a decision. And that was a tough one for Bruce. He didn't know what was coming on his blind side, but he got away with it that time.
Thomas. Oh, it's a challenge from behind, and he won't get away with that. It's a booking, in fact, for Tony Adams.
Yeah, he might have got away with it about 12 years ago, Brian. He used to get 2 of those before he got spoken to, but I'm afraid that's the sort of tackle that I think, rightly so, is banned in football now. I mean, there's no real intention to play the ball. He's played the man and through the man to get the ball. You just can't do that anymore, and he knew he was going to get booked.
Going to be a free kick then to Liverpool. Repairs for Dean Saunders. 18 goals this season, 9 of them in European competition. But perhaps what's more important for Liverpool, he scored 5 in the last 7 league games. He's kept that momentum going well. Olby with the free kick. Putting it in for Houghton. Winterburn closing very quickly on him. Merson trying to prevent Rob Jones from making any breaks down that right flank. Free kick, or rather I don't think the throw's given Arsenal's way. The linesman was certainly signalling something for Liverpool. 27 coming up to 28 minutes gone. It's a free kick, in fact. Perhaps for the foul on Merson. 0-0 the score. Certainly Alan Smith got no change out of Mark Wright with that good header by the Liverpool skipper.
I think it's been since Mark Wright returned to the Liverpool side that we see this long run of sort of more typical Liverpool performances. He is an outstanding player, and they also have the advantage also. When he didn't play, they never had really anyone with any height up front, so he's like a bonus there as well. Tremendous player. I had the privilege of playing with him at Southampton when he was just a boy, and from day one he looked a class player.
Adams with a header. Foul on him by Rosenthal, who looked to be all arms, legs and elbows as he went in to challenge the Arsenal defender there. A free kick to the visitors. And Winterburn wants to take it because he's seen Dixon in a bit of space, but Saunders quickly cut that down. And down at second division, Bristol Rovers leading Portsmouth by a goal to 0. Devon White the scorer. Steve Nicol just agreed a new contract. Anfield will keep him here until 1995. Turning it back to Grobbelaar. Foul there by Steve Bold, I fancy. A free kick to Liverpool, yes.
Yeah, I think where Arsenal are struggling a little bit at the back line, they would much prefer a big target man up front because they're both the defenders in old area as well.
Saunders with a shot, well wide of David Seaman's goal. The noise this big crowd are making here, Kevin, they clearly are enjoying it because it's some good cut and thrust stuff tonight.
Yeah, I was reading the programme and Graham Souness was saying that the last game they came back to win against Luton, it was the crowd more than any player that won the game for them. And of course, when I played here, we won games we should never have won. With 26,000 people in the Kop there, you know, 26,000 referees. And I think that's coming back now. I think after the Hillsborough and the knock they took in the Iceland Stadium, the fans got a bit subdued, and you know, understandably so. But I think now they're back and they're seeing a team out there that they can see that's going to go places, and no one supports any better than this squad here.
Well, here's Rob Jones, Ronnie Rosenthal. Of course, still without John Barnes. He's now got a troublesome calf muscle injury, I think it is. So they say he might well keep him out until next month. Well, that's a mistake by Ray Parlour. It's put Saunders in possession, and Parlour, to his credit, got back there and helped put it right. Oh, but he's given it away again. This time to Thomas. Saunders now comes to Houghton. Winterburn there. Real pinball machine stuff again. In and around that Arsenal penalty area. Good skill by Steve Bold. a lot of nerve that went with it. Arsenal's throw, still 0-0. Thomas. Here's Carter. Getting it through to Dixon, but not quite as cleanly as he wanted to. Adams takes the easy way out. Smith again. Here's Alan Smith once again. Nice little ball there, played for Parler. Saunders. Parler read that ball. Liverpool's throw. Right.
I think the game just slowed down visibly in the last 5. I don't think there's any way both sets of players could have kept that up. Young Parler must wonder what he's come into. He's still trying to get to the pace of this game, and he's very much involved, but he's always on the fringe of it, not quite in it.
Here's Wright for Arsenal. Onto the right foot, but wide of Robilard's goal again. 18 goals this season, 13 of them for Arsenal, 5 before that for Crystal Palace. A real proven goal scorer, this man. Something like 117 goals he scored between 1985 and 1991 in the colours of Crystal Palace. Dixon playing it in right after this one. Both the rights clashing there, and it falls for Grobbelaar. Jones. Dragged back there by Mark Walters. Played on for Saunders. Mulvey tries to keep it going again, and one of the few Mulvey passes that went badly astray. Merson now feeding Winterburn. Wright's waiting in the middle, the only Arsenal man who's really up in a strong attacking position. And Steve Nicol now for Liverpool. Walters up to Rosenthal. Flash there between Rosenthal and Rocastle. Adams really putting himself about there. He's already got a yellow card, but that didn't stop him challenging hard on Saunders, challenging hard on Mark Walters. Nicol. Tanner playing it forward. Again, Adams up. Rocastle. Wright gets it.
Rocastle's contribution so far has been excellent. Mainly first-time passes, very good vision, like through ball for the chance that he made for Merson. And it seems like he's finally, after 2 years, sort of a little bit in the wilderness, he's really getting back into sort of form that made him an England potential.
Here's Wright. It's not been an easy week for David Rocastle. He had to go to a family funeral yesterday, he was telling me. He sends a message of good cheer to all the family back at home in what's been a difficult week for them. And here he is on the ball again now. Oh, now a lovely ball there. Can Wright finish it off? Grobbelaar again doing some excellent work, and Carter trying to plant it into an unattended net, but sadly miscued to the delight of the cop. But again, terrific work by Rocastle. And a great break by Wright, but once again thwarted by the quick thinking of Bruce Grobbelaar.
Terrific ball through here, Brian. I mean, the sort of ball defenders hate, but Brucey does great again. And I suppose if Carter had knocked it into the empty net, people would have said it was a mistake from him, which, you know, in my opinion, would be totally wrong. But that's how people see goalkeeping. They say he shouldn't be out there. But he's so instrumental to what Liverpool do in that situation defensively.
Carter. Cut out by Wright, still 0-0 here at Anfield, Liverpool and Arsenal. Ball for Michael Thomas. And now for Saunders. Houghton's waiting in the middle. Goal kick.
There's a real pattern developing to the game now. I mean, obviously people like Saunders and Rosenthal and Walters, they want to drag people like Adams and certainly Bold out wide where they don't feel comfy. And when they get in these positions, they look dangerous. Of course, if they're down the middle and it's the high ball, then it reverses and it's Arsenal look pretty composed at the back. It's a terrific game, Brian, because there's so many little duels going on all over the pitch already, and we're over half an hour into the game, and it doesn't seem like 5 minutes. That's when you know you've got a decent game of football going.
Here's Smith. Parlour. Offside against Ian Wright.
I would imagine Jack Charlton be looking at this Parlour and trying to get to play for the Republic. I mean, if you're Irish coming to the Parlour, that's about enough to get an international cap these days, I think.
He's a good, strong Essex boy. I don't know whether he has got any Irish affiliations.
I didn't realise you needed them anymore, Brian. If you had a pint of Guinness with an Irishman about 5 years ago, or with your grandfather, that qualified you.
But he's done well, really. I know you say he's finding trouble getting to the pace of this game, but like what they're saying, he looks as though he got a wonderful temperament on him. Very first ball that he played. Anybody just joined us? It's the surprise change in the Arsenal midfield. An 18-year-old from Romford, Ray Parlour, wearing the number 4 shirt, making his first appearance for the Gunners tonight. There he is, jumping for the ball, getting it above Ronnie Rosenthal.
I don't think anyone on the field's touched it more than he has. He's certainly had his fair share of these clashes. He's enjoying himself, and that's what football should be all about. Even at this level, playing at Anfield in front of a crowd like this in a big game, you can still enjoy it.
Walters brought down by Carter, a free kick. I don't think the referee was going to take any action there. Whether Jimmy Carter actually said something to Michael Reed as he went by, I don't know. But it's a daft game to play if you do. I think that's what the referee is indicating, that you should keep your mouth shut. That's very, very good advice. Here's Nicol. Rosenthal just keeping it in. Hitting a long, long one, but it's behind David Seaman's goal for an Arsenal goal kick. Fantastic incentive, really, for Liverpool tonight. 11 points behind the leaders, Manchester United, if they can cut that down to 8. Remembering that United, well, both the big Uniteds, Leeds and Manchester United, have both got to come here to play in the Barclays League this season. And incidentally, those are both home games in April, Liverpool's last 2 home league games against Leeds United and Manchester United. What a climax that could be. 5 minutes of the first half remaining, still 0-0. Wright hitting it high. Adams underneath it. Parlour throwing it forward once again. Smith chasing. Tanner with him. Smith to Carter, back to Dixon. Here's Steve Nicol. And Nicol again.
Nicol really epitomises what Liverpool are all about, Brian. You can understand why they've tied him up another contract for until 95, and they'd probably like to have him into the next century. He is a terrific footballer. He can play anywhere. He gives 120%, and you know, he's the sort of player I would say to young lads, watch him. You know, he wouldn't be blessed with more than his fair share of talent, but he's using that talent to its absolute maximum. He's a tremendous professional. I've got tremendous respect for Steve Nicol.
10 years he's been here, and he's played, you're quite right, Kevin, in 7 different positions in that time. That's a good turn by Merson. Cutting inside and away from Houghton, but not away from his former teammate Michael Thomas. But here's young Ray Parlour. It's a good ball played for Jimmy Carter now for Arsenal. The cross comes in, Mark Wright with a header away for Liverpool, up towards Dean Saunders. Saunders knocking it back this time for Ray Houghton. There's Parlour again in the action. Thomas to Walters. To Rob Jones. Holds header. Parlour again, took it nicely on his body, turned around, saw what was available. Jimmy Carter's the man. He's fouled by Mulvey. And a free kick to Arsenal. The last 3 minutes of the first half. Show you what sort of night it is here. Adams' breath standing out like that under this very cold night air here on Merseyside. Now planting the ball forward. Smith up with a header, right, looking to make a turn. Adams in a little, rather not Adams, Tanner saying in a little bit of trouble just for a moment there.
Not having things all their own way at the back, aren't they, Liverpool? You know, with the aerially they've been dominated slightly by Arsenal, and although the game's been very even Steven, Arsenal have probably had, up to now, the better of the chances. Certainly the clear-cut chance that Merson had, or one or two other half chances. But it's still a game that you just wouldn't like to guess which way it's going to go.
Nickel. Mulvey beaten by the pace and the power and the determination of David Rocastle on the ball again now for Arsenal. But look how well Mark Wright got back at him. Just nicked it away from him. Leads the charge himself, and he's got red shirts all around him, including Dean Saunders here. Tanner playing it forward again. Houghton might pack the inches, and he does snap quite a few inches there against Tony Adams. Smith. Winterburn. Wright looked to be offside, and indeed the flag down below us is waved, and Liverpool get a free kick. Already taken. No hanging about at all here on this cold night as Mulvey plays it wide again. Rosenthal on that far side. He's gone past Winterburn. In the end, he's brought down and a penalty given. Well, I think it was young Ray Parlour who brought him down.
Yeah, this is a price you've got to pay maybe for a little bit of inexperience, but when players are running at you like this in the box, suddenly it's a dangerous thing, and well, it's definitely a penalty, Brian.
You couldn't argue with that. When you see that, the Arsenal players are surrounding the referee, but I think when the benefit of that slow motion, there can't be much doubt. A snaky run by Rosenthal, and an injudicious challenge by the 18-year-old presents Jan Mulvey with a chance to make it 1-0 to Liverpool. Good touch there, Tony Adams. That was a good bit of captaincy there by Adams, taking Ray Parlour by the neck and saying, hey, don't worry about that, you get on with the game. And here's Mulvey putting Liverpool into the lead.
Brian, football's a learning process, and you learn from your little mistakes. It wasn't a mistake really, it was a little bit of an experience, but you know, he had to make the challenge. Rosenthal committed him, like all good players have to do in the box, and he just took the wrong selection there, but he's still having a good game, the lad. He's nothing to be ashamed of.
Thomas getting it forward. Now Liverpool really on the move. Houghton in for Rosenthal again. Again he's brought down, that time by the skipper, Tony Adams. And another free kick. And that might be another possibility from Mulvey, who can be devastating from this sort of distance.
That's the other frightening thing, Brian, is that with having a booking already, any Liverpool player that gets within range of Adams in the box should get at him, because one mistimed tackle, I know it might sound terrible, but from the pressure point of view, it's one man less to worry about. It's 10 men to play against.
The pressure's on, but the smiling face of Tony Adams shows there's a good deal of sportsmanship out there as well. Here's the free kick coming up. Two are standing, as Thomas and Houghton right in front of the ball, but as we thought, it's Mulvey who's lining up something here. Mulvey's free kick, cannons off the Arsenal wall, and Liverpool don't get a corner because the half-time whistle goes. Jan Mulvey's penalty, 1 minute from the interval, separating these two sides on a night of fast and flowing, skillful football. Ray Parlour having brought down Ronnie Rosenthal, Jan Mulvey having put Liverpool ahead from the penalty spot. That's the situation here at Anfield.
John Barnes, he's with Gary Newbon.
Yes, indeed. John, what are your impressions on the first half?
Well, no one really wants to give anything away. They're not really putting our back foot under pressure when we've got the ball. They're just dropping back. And, you know, it's a very important game for both clubs. You know, no one wants to give goals away. And, you know, fortunately, we've managed to get a penalty and go 1-0 up. But it's a very tight game.
There were no arguments about the penalty?
Not from us, there wasn't.
No.
But I'm sure after seeing it on the replay that there won't be any arguments from the Arsenal camp as well.
But having said that about the way the game's gone, do you not think Arsenal were very unlucky? Grobbelaar had to make 3 good saves there.
I came a bit late, but Bruce made 2 good saves when Merson went through. You know, he went through last year, I think it was when he beat us 1-0 and scored, but fortunately Bruce saved that one, and Ian Wright had a good header. So I think that although we probably pressed and got in good positions, I think that they've probably created the more clear-cut chances.
Now, what's the position about you and injury? You've got a calf injury, a blood clot on the calf.
I should imagine I'll be back within 2 weeks. It'll be about 2 weeks. It's just a slight calf strain, so within 2 weeks I should be back.
You think you've had enough of injuries, haven't you, this season?
Yeah, I had a couple comeback games, and then after that, you know. But as I said, this is just a slight one, so I anticipate being back within 2 weeks.
What about the League Championship? I mean, Liverpool are really coming back in, and this is, as you say, an important match. So how do you see it if they can win tonight?
Well, if we can win, we could peg 3 points back, but then Manchester United have a game in hand over us, and they don't seem to be dropping any points, you know. It's okay us winning every match, but we really need them to drop points, and they are doing that at the moment. So, you know, we just got to keep winning our matches and, you know, hope that they drop a few. So it's really in their hands, them and Leeds United.
OK, John, long way to go in this match, but thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the commentary box. Brian Moore here, and with me, Kevin Keegan. There's the unfortunate young man, Ray Parlour, talking to Kevin at half-time, because Kevin's got to sort the man of the match out later on. He said, well, to be honest with you, he wouldn't be far off the mark, even though he's conceded that penalty. So Kevin obviously been very impressed by this young lad's performance in the first half for Arsenal. Yeah,
I just feel that I wasn't criticising when I said he's finding it hard to get the pace of the game. He was all over the place. His enthusiasm carried him through in the first half. He did not 1 or 2 great balls, and then he unfortunately got tagged for inexperience. But he certainly contributed to this match, Brian.
Away we go then, the start of the second half. Liverpool leading by 1-0. Jan Molby's penalty a minute before half-time. Carter getting it back. Dixon towards Smith. That Molby penalty was the only Liverpool shot on target in the first half. As we can see, Arsenal had 4, 2 of which were really possible goal-scoring opportunities, denied by some excellent work from Bruce Grobbelaar. Adams. Dixon. In goes Dixon again. So Arsenal strikers really haven't had the best of luck lately. Their form has not been fine. Smith, for example, has scored only 3 in the last 22 games. You certainly wouldn't think that looking at his performance tonight, but he hasn't won the corner there that he'd hoped for.
No, when things don't go for you, especially as a striker, they don't go for you, and then suddenly you can score 4 goals in 2 games, and it sets you going again. And Alan Smith certainly tonight, I mean, he hasn't scored yet, he hasn't really had a chance, but he's certainly shown all the attributes of a good striker. His control's been good, he's caused problems wherever he's been, and I'm sure it's only a matter of time before he gets back to hit the net again.
Certainly before that run of 22 games with only 3 goals, he whacked in 11 in 8 games. And so you see in one season how the form of even the best strikers can vary quite dramatically. A free kick to Arsenal.
I suppose the older people watching, Brian, will say Dixie Dean used to keep it going for the whole year and get 60, but it doesn't seem to happen these days anymore.
Grobbelaar's free kick. It's the famous Dixie who did it. Was just across Stanley Park from here, just half a mile away in the blue of Everton. Well, here are Arsenal in the yellow now, finding Paul Merson. Now that looked to be out of play, I thought, but obviously not. Saunders. Rosenthal up alongside him. Thomas has made one of those great characteristic runs from the midfield, just too high for him. Nicol. Stevie Nicol not renowned as a great goal scorer, 1 this season only.
I wouldn't have thought he'd scored many with his left foot from about 25 yards on an angle, Brian, but it was worth a chance, you know. Cut the neck off it sometimes, it goes in the top corner.
Well, that was, I always think it's one of the great sights of the First Division game, actually, when you see Michael Thomas making those runs from the midfield, which he's now started to do for Liverpool. He certainly did it in their game at Oldham, scored a fabulous goal. And he was on a great run there, right from challenge through the midfield.
And they're so difficult to pick up, Brian. You know, they're coming from deep, they're coming from behind players, and it really is a simple run that kills defences.
Here's Rob Jones, up to Houghton, such a busy player. Jones again, good composure. Houghton again, hustled here by Merson. Mark Wright, full of composure, as indeed is Molby. Little touch on now for Thomas again. Picking up Nicol. Carter backpedaling ahead of him. Dixon's in there too, still with Nicol. It came off Carter for the corner.
Of course, something that bears mentioning, Brian, is the fact that Liverpool are now, of course, kicking towards the Kop, and that, you know, always is worth a goal to Liverpool. I mean, it's the way they like to kick. Second half, 1-0 lead. You know, they would be fancying the chances now, I would have thought.
Comes the corner. Wright tried to get the header in. Thomas tries to keep it going. Right again. This wasn't it Bill Shankly used to say that the crowd used to draw their breath in and suck the ball into goal. Here's Houghton. It's picked up its competitive pace very early in this second half, this game. Saunders, Thomas. Saunders trying to get on the end of it, played it back again, and Rosenthal balloons it over the Arsenal crossbar.
A very, very difficult chance this for a striker. I mean, it looks easy to the layman, but I tell you, not a lot of pace on the ball and coming in very quickly. I mean, it wasn't as easy as maybe it would look at initially. You're a bit unlucky there. He was in the right place, just didn't get the right sort of contact.
But what determination by Dean Saunders to get to that ball, though.
He actually pushed his own player out the way.
That's right, and an Arsenal defender, but he meant to get there. There he goes, look. It's it, Ray Houghton and Tony Adams. In the end, Rosenthal puts it over. Winterburn in a bit of trouble here just below us. We probably got a knock and a challenge with Rob Jones just a moment ago when that move started. Here's David Seaman with the goal kick. 10 underneath this one. Nicol knocking down Parler's header. Adams again. Carter leaving the no. I thought he would leave it for Lee Dixon, but he's found David Rocastle. All out of play. Linesman's flag up. It'll be a throw to Liverpool on the far side. It's Arsenal's way.
Just trying to imagine what maybe the manager said at half-time. I would have thought George Graham would have said, hey, come on, boys, you don't deserve to be a goal down. Keep going, you've caused a lot of problems. And I think probably Souness would say, hey, we're a bit fortunate to be one up, but let's take advantage of it. Let's try and not give them as much space as we've given them in the first half. It'd be nice to bin a mole on the wall or a fly on the wall, something like that.
There's some funny moles where you come from.
Well, living out in the country, you know, we've combated the flies, but the moles are...
Now Rocastle. Knocked away by Mark Wright. Saw Rocastle, it must have been, what, 3 or 4 seasons ago, score an absolutely stunning goal for Arsenal from just about that position. And again making the running here. Cut out well, though, by Mark Walters. The long ball hoisted forward. Saunders couldn't control it. Arsenal get a throw. Walters. Good play by Walters, sending Saunders on his way, lining up the shots, and young Ray Parler getting a very important challenge there. Saunders really had his finger on the trigger, and the tackle was a very good one by the 18-year-old. forwards. Adams gets there first, chested down by Rocastle. It falls eventually to Carter. And away come Liverpool again now. Steve Nicol. Oh, look at the space here for Thomas. He's making one of those runs again. It deflected off goal. Saunders into the side netting. A chance was there. Created in the first place by the run of Michael Thomas.
He was given a tremendous amount of space here. He just couldn't help but open his eyes and say, I've got to have a pop. And he hit it. He got a deflecting off the arm of one of the defenders. I think it was Bold.
Steve Bold.
And it made it very difficult for Seaman. Maybe Saunders will be a bit annoyed he didn't put it in, but it was from a very, very difficult angle.
To Rosenthal. Nicol. Here's Molby. Oh, lovely skills by Molby there. Rosenthal. Jan Molby again. Simple pass to Thomas. Walters. Long-range shot too high, but Michael Thomas, as I was saying, this is Walters, but Michael Thomas, as I was saying a few moments ago, really beginning to make those wonderful runs from the midfield that so thrilled Arsenal fans during his career at Highbury. And of course was so typical of that most dramatic moment here in 1989 in the last seconds of the game that decided the championship when he, in the other goal, he raced through to score the goal that brought Arsenal the title. Molby up and away. Saunders chasing, Bowl trying to get back, and does so very skillfully indeed, under an awful lot of pressure there from Saunders. 10 minutes of the second half gone. Jan Molby's penalty, the only goal of the night so far. Scored 1 minute before half-time. And Rosenthal was brought down by the 18-year-old Ray Parlour, making his first appearance for Arsenal tonight. Lee Dixon being spoken to by the referee. Liverpool awarded the free kick. And Steve Nicol will take it. Walters, little touch there by Dixon, just put the ball away for Arsenal. Rocastle. Cleared well by Rob Jones. Up to Walters, there's Saunders on the far side, Rosenthal waiting in the middle. Houghton's made a great break through the middle as well. Here's Ray Houghton, and the whistle had gone. And offside, linesman right beneath us here.
Yeah, Rosenthal probably
yes,
caught offside. Very good defending from Bold. He's just stepped out half a yard. It's a dangerous game to play, but he got it right that time.
Smith winning it in the air above Tanner. Yes, if you're Ray Houghton, you have to be a little annoyed with that because it was a super and well-timed run by Houghton. But here's Walters now making one for Liverpool. Thomas up alongside him. And Nicol there too, but it wasn't a good enough pass really to get Liverpool going with Steve Nicol. To that looked like a shove in the back on right by Tanner, a free kick. Wright turning well, getting away from Tanner beautifully, faced by Wright, and Wright looked just to stick a foot out, and Mark Wright that is.
The referee tried to play advantage there, Brian. He was quite right, but where I think he probably made a mistake is once he saw there was no advantage, he could have given the free kick and therefore not give any advantage to Liverpool from what was basically a non-win situation.
Oh, and here's Rosenthal, and he screwed it wide. A super ball by Ray Houghton, and real end-to-end stuff. There's Houghton's pass.
Oh, this is a great chance for Rosenthal. I don't know who got back. I think it was Bold again, or maybe Adams. But that last little tackle just maybe took his eye off the ball. But really, again, like in the first half with Merson, he probably should have hit the net. Certainly made the keeper make a save.
Still 1-0 to Liverpool. David Seaman with the goal kick for Arsenal. Rocastle, Winterburn. Winterburn again. Smith. Bold. Dixon. Wright's turn. Smith tried to get that into the path of Wright again, but it was Michael Thomas back there doing a good defending job on the edge of his own penalty area. This match, incidentally, also, as well as going live to you at home here in Great Britain, is going live to Italy as well. And I've no doubt the fans and the players, the management of Genoa, who Liverpool play in the next round of the UEFA, will be watching. And I would think we'll be fairly impressed by this Liverpool performance again tonight. Leading Arsenal by 1-0.
It's lovely to think, Brian, that it's going to other countries and they're seeing what is the very best of our football, because this is a terrific football match. Whether you support Arsenal, Liverpool or you're neutral, you've got to enjoy a game like this.
Parler to Adams. Knocked it forwards. Rocastle, who's down injured at the moment for Arsenal. Dixon. Couldn't quite clear the head of Tanner. Parler's shot, easily gathered by Grobbelaar, and Grobbelaar very sportingly kicking the ball out of play.
That's the other nice thing, Brian, the sportsmanship between these two sides tonight. I mean, it's pick people up, shake hands. It, again, for young lads watching, you know, sometimes they get all hyped up over a game of football. This is where you should be hyped up, and these players aren't showing it. They're showing what is, I feel, the very best of sportsmanship in what could easily be a few situations at times.
Yes, Rocastle just caught there. Yes, there have been a few smiles out on the pitch there tonight. And it was very interesting, actually, when Arsenal arrived, they all surrounded Michael Thomas, an old buddy of theirs, and it was certainly indicative of just how popular Michael Thomas must have been in his days at Highbury. There was plenty of smiles and plenty of laughter and some good stories going around that little area just outside the two dressing rooms.
Yeah, he seems to me, I mean, he's a thinking man's player. You know, you can see him out there. I've been watching him very closely because obviously he's a new player in the setup. He's thinking his way into this Liverpool side.
Mark Wright gets it forwards. Here's Merson. Long-range shots. One of your old clubs, Kevin, Southampton, have made their way through to Wembley for the Zenith Data final. They've beaten Chelsea 3-1 at Stamford Bridge tonight, having won the first leg 2-0. A hat-trick for Matt Letitia.
Well, I'm delighted for them, even though I couldn't get in the car park at the ground a couple of weeks ago. It's super for a club like Southampton, and I'm delighted for the area because they've got some tremendous supporters down there. And I might try to get to Wembley. I think I can get in that car park.
Off Steve Nicol. Smith. Right. Up to Rosenthal. Rosenthal. Walters. Rosenthal. And Walters brought down right on the edge of the box there. Another free kick for Liverpool. I would suggest another possibility for Jan Molby.
It's amazing, the game swung around. Liverpool is sort of now doing what Arsenal were doing in the first half, and of course Arsenal didn't get the rewards, and if Liverpool don't, they could well end up drawing or losing a game that they've dominated in the second half. But it's a very interesting situation now. It's a sort of position that Molby loves.
Mulvey's free kick. Oh, driven straight in there and knocked away by Adams. Good response and a quick reaction there from the Arsenal captain. Uncharacteristic, really, of David Seaman to allow that one to fall out of his hands. The whistle had gone, in fact, so it's a free kick to Arsenal.
It's just pitched right in front of him, Brian, on this sort of little slippy surface. He got his body behind, he did everything he could, but of course, on a normal day, I think he would have held it.
I think there must have been a foul against Tony Adams as he made that clearance. In any case, it's a free kick for Arsenal. Adams quickly into the rescue there. Yes, a foul on the Arsenal skipper. Smith battling away here with Tanner. Rocastle. Just poking it through for Steve Bold. Adams knocking it forward, up to Smith, now for Dixon, trying to release Ian Wright now, but again Tanner doing excellent work.
Yeah, he had a little bit of a shaky start, first 10-15 minutes, Tanner, but he's now got on his game and he's looking very, very solid, Brian, isn't he?
It's Carter, Dixon, Rocastle, stopped by Thomas. Again, Smith getting there. Here's Ray Houghton. Not a good ball, cut out easily by Winterburn. Merson's chasing. Seen too much of Merson down this left-hand side tonight. He had that one great chance early on that Robillard did so well to save. Mulvey. What about that for a bit of nerve, and showing the 18-year-old just how you can do it. But look at young Ray Fowler again. Smith, Merson, Fowler. Oh, turned well there, turned away from his man, but couldn't withstand that challenge, and a good one it was too from Mark Wright. As Liverpool take it up again. Houghton now. There's that run from the midfield by Thomas. Half stopped though by Carter. Dixon hitting it long and forward. Wright trying to get away from Tanner. Robillard right to the very limit of his penalty area. Mulvey. Walters playing it wide for Rob Jones. Rosenthal's gone wide on the right. Thomas is right up in there again for him. Here's Michael Thomas. Flag is up. Straight from the stage of the London Palladium, that bit. Rocastle, Merson, Parler. Rocastle. Had the ball at his feet there, looked around and spread his arms wide, as much as say, well, come on, somebody come and help me. He's got a lot of confidence, quite honestly, in spite of the problems he had in that last minute before half-time. And he conceded the penalty, scored by Jan Mulvey, Liverpool leading in this game at Anfield by 1-0.
Well, your debut is always very special, Brian, but I mean, I think this young lad will certainly remember his for a lot of very good reasons. I mean,
up on the roof of the stands. Actually, we probably can't see it from here, but just behind the roof of that stand, already beginning to show, is the wonderful new stand. That you can just see some of the structure there that is going to be ready at the start of the new season here at Anfield. Adams, slight miscue again. The Kop loving that, of course. Seem to have had a little bit of a down on Tony Adams, but I think they respect his skill as well, and he's just done one or two things to get them going in this last couple of minutes or so. Smith battling away, Winterburn intervening quickly, finding Merson, played on again this time for Rocastle. Arsenal looking hard for this equalising goal. And now Smith, the flag is up on offside though. Grobbelaar springing out of his goal. There's Jones. Ball hit long. Rosenthal's up there for Liverpool. And Adams goes down. The referee looks away, hands behind his back. Never was a penalty. But it was some excellent defending and covering again by the Arsenal captain.
You might say it never was a penalty. I've seen them given Brian for that sort of challenge. Sometimes if it had been down the other end, having given a penalty to Liverpool in the first half, it could well have been seen as a penalty.
Oh, what a lovely little dummy. Ray Houghton through now. A super goal! A wonderful goal for Liverpool. Made in the first place by a terrific dummy by Dean Saunders. And Ray Houghton going through to put Liverpool 2 up.
Nicol knocks a great ball in. And, I mean, defenders can't stop this sort of run. It's from deep again, and what a great finish. Just flicking it over Seaman's hand, and cool as a cucumber, a terrific goal. I feel a little bit sorry for Arsenal, but we've got a great game of football here.
2-0 to Liverpool. Molby from the penalty spot just before half-time. And now Ray Houghton. Coming up to the 70th minute. From inside David Seaman's goal. A lovely little finish by Ray Houghton.
The copper shouting they're going to win the league, and I'd love to know what Alex Ferguson thinks after the game, because you mustn't discount Liverpool ever.
Well, I don't think Alec would ever discount Liverpool, Kevin, and now they could well be within 8 shots, 8 points of the league. With Manchester United and Leeds, you remember, both still have to come to Anfield this season. Adams. A free kick. Alan Smith, the injured Arsenal player. And a sharp word for the Liverpool captain.
I think he's right not to book him there. It's been a terrific game. The sportsmanship, as I said, has been very good, and that's good referee. And he said to him, hey, you know you shouldn't have done that. You're not going to get away with it. Don't do it again.
Winterburn. Rocastle. Here's Parler. Cut out by Steve Nicol. Into the path of Mark Walters. Jan Molby's up there too. Rosenthal. It's maybe a little too long, although Saunders gets it. And they get a corner.
Yeah, the Arsenal players were trying to play offside there. It's a dangerous game to play, but when you're 2-0 down, you've got to take a few risks, and just the final ball in from Rosenthal was over it for me.
Saunders. Mulvey. A little flick there. Bold really had to stretch himself to get that one away. The foul there by Mark Wright on Ian Wright, a free kick to Arsenal. Alec Ferguson, very quickly, what do you feel about the second half now?
Well, just what I thought. Liverpool scoring in half-time has given the game to Liverpool. The second half has been all Liverpool. They've played very well, and I don't think there's any question for the result now.
So they're drawing a bit closer to you, Alec, all the time?
Well, yes, there's a long way to go for both clubs, and for Leeds United. We're in a good position from it. We're not getting ourselves in a twist about it.
That's
we expect challenges, and we're ready for it.
Quite right. A lot of sides would like to be 8 points clear, Alec, wouldn't they?
I think Liverpool would anyway.
Thanks, Alec. Here's Parler. No, the whistle had gone. It's a free kick in the meantime to Arsenal. Went a little deeper there. Steve Bold with it. Parler getting it back to his captain. Liverpool leading by 2-0. Smith. Newcastle. Winterburn gone through the challenge. Now, what sort of cross can he find for Arsenal here? Might come for Merson. Wright gets it away. I think a ricochet off the referee. Finds Mulby with it. That's a lovely ball through to Walters. He's brought down by Smith. Or rather by Carter. Now, whether or not Jimmy Carter has had a little bit of back chat again to the referee, I don't know. If you remember in the first half, he looked as though he was going to take no action. Whether Carter said something or not, I don't know. Whether it may be just second thoughts by the referee. At any rate, there's no booking, and it's a free kick to Liverpool. Jones, forward to Rosenthal. He looks such a handful, Rosenthal. Smith taken nicely on his body. He's got Thomas swarming all over him. Somebody's going to be booked here. Is it Michael Thomas? Well, the Arsenal fans will love that.
I think this is a situation whereby there's been, in the last 2 or 3 minutes, a lot of incidents that have not really been bookable, but I think the referee now is just saying, hey, you're the unlucky one, you've done the next foul, but I'm telling you, I'm back in control of this game, and I think he's done a great job, the referee. I think they took a lot of criticism early on with the new rules, but they're now starting to enforce them in the right way.
Tanner ducking in and getting the header away. Up to Saunders. Touchdown towards Mark Walters. Saunders is up there with him. Rosenthal too. Support from behind by Nicol. Nicol. Gibson. Arsenal about to make a substitution. Harry Groves will be coming on. Steve Bold, there are other substitutes already on. Seaman with a long clearance up towards Smith. Here's Parlour. Right with a header. And so it's young Ray Parlour coming off. Well, he's a man will be ashamed of in his first appearance in an Arsenal first-team shirt. It was unfortunate, his inexperience. He gave away the penalty just before half-time, but he was heavily involved with some very good touches indeed. So Perry Groves is on. With this throw for Arsenal, 2 down. Liverpool looking to make it 1 defeat in the last 19, but they've conceded the corner here.
You still get the feeling in this game, Brian, that they're nowhere near to the final chapter of the book. It's a terrific game of football.
Get it away, but not very convincingly. Saunders helping out as well. So too was Mark Walters. Mulby leading the challenge there, but that was a deliberate handball there by Mulby. Now, what happens to Jan Mulby here? I mean, that was a deliberate handball and a silly one as well.
It's a spontaneous reaction sometimes. I hope he doesn't send him off for it. No, he's not. He's going to book him. It's enough. Sometimes you do it almost spontaneous. You know you shouldn't do it, and it's almost by accident. Yeah, possibly kicking it away afterwards was what the referee really was annoyed about.
Offside. A free kick to Liverpool. Rosenthal. Inside the last quarter of an hour, about 13 minutes to go. Goes Nicol.
I I think that second goal's knocked a bit of the stuffing out of Arsenal. I mean, they've played very, very well and contributed to a very good game here, and they haven't really had the rewards they possibly deserve. And you feel now it's really set up for Liverpool possibly to go out and grab some more.
But hold on, here's Merson trying to get the ball through to Ian Wright. Mulvey now. Good ball, lovely skills again off the referee, and Thomas trying to find Houghton, and it sets Arsenal forward now. Nigel Winterburn. Can Perry Groves get in there? Rob Jones is there first, gets it ball successfully back to Bruce Grobbelaar. Houghton, here's Thomas. Walters. Saunders offside.
You can see how Liverpool are starting to dominate, because Saunders now is probably as far forward as he's been all game. He was very deep in the first half because he was being forced deep, and now he's playing where I'm sure the Liverpool fans, and certainly Souness, would like to see him more up front.
Thomas to Walters. Really beginning to run at their men now. Walters, a long-range shot, soaring over that Arsenal crossbar, in amongst the packed top behind it. And it'll be a goal kick to Liverpool.
You say a packed cop, Brian, but it's a capacity now of 16,500.
Graham Souness there, and Phil Borsma alongside him. He's moved things around a bit here, hasn't he, Graham? And it's beginning to work for him, Kevin.
He's reaping the rewards now. You know, he's blooded a lot of players. I mean, they've had 24 players playing this year already, and we're about 2/3 through the season. So, you know, it tells you how many injuries they've had. And to his credit, he hasn't moaned about it. He's accepted it, got on with the job in the true Liverpool fashion, and they're now starting to, well, claw their way back into this title race.
Towards Rosenthal. It's Adams. And a free kick there. I think there was some shirt tugging there by Ronnie Rosenthal on Tony Adams. A free kick to Arsenal. 10 minutes of the game left. Arsenal 2 down. And Mulvey's penalty just before half-time. Ray Houghton in the second half for Liverpool scorers. Adams with a kick. Groves, it's Merson. Tanner's header away to Walters. Old Castle stopped well by Walters, and Mulvey's pass. A real searching one there for Rosenthal to chase. Dixon there with him. Gets it back again to Walters. Once again to Mulvey. Simple ball this time to Nicol. Played in again to Thomas. Thomas looks as though he was obstructed there by both Adams and Dixon. So it'll be an indirect free kick to Arsenal, well inside the Liverpool penalty area.
Sometimes, Brian, a free kick this close is almost a disadvantage. You know, you probably prefer to be 3 or 4 yards further out. But another great move for Liverpool. Very hard for defenders to stop players, especially when they're running into the box. Slightest touch and it's a penalty. But Liverpool's certainly performing well now.
Seaman lining up everything. It needs to be absolutely perfect. That's a typical Mulvey touch. And Arsenal get it away. There was a foul by Walters on Adams. Well, you haven't been back often to the famous old ground where you played for 5 or 6 seasons, Kevin, but you can see it's in good hands at the moment.
Yeah, it's changed a lot in some ways, but really it hasn't changed at all. The atmosphere is still terrific. It's a terrific place to come and play football.
Rob Jones. In general terms for the moment, Kevin, about your man of the match choice. Right. Comes now to Smith. Mulvey. Here's Walters again. Dean Saunders up ahead of him. Thomas has made that great break again. And it was easy for Seaman to pick it out of the air. Sorry?
It's a tough one. It's been team performances really, but the one guy I'm leaning towards very much is Mark Wright. I just think he's had a superb game at the art of the defence. Since he came back into the side, Liverpool have looked more like Liverpool of old, and his influence both on the field and, you know, tactically is tremendous on this side.
Well, he was in getting a good header there to hold up Ian Wright again. Here comes Tony Adams, the Arsenal skipper. Winterburn. Merson. Going it wide for Carter. Looked in again. And who should be there again? Mark Wright.
I can remember Mark Wright coming to Southampton as part of the paperweight in the deal with a lad called Cassells, and his first day Mickey Shannon at the practice match, and we thought, yeah, he's not paperweight, this guy, he can play. Because Mickey Shannon was a real handful for anybody.
Robillard well out. Will he get there before Winterburn? Referee decides it's a corner. Bruce unhappy with that decision.
Well, I think rightly so. Can't see how the ball can go that way, having seen it. But there's Bruce doing his Franz Beckenbauer impressions. And you can't underestimate how good a sweeper this guy is for Liverpool.
Well, it's Merson with the corner for Arsenal. Now is the time to pull one back if they can. Adams is right in there. And Smith off the crossbar and behind.
It's just not going for Arsenal. I mean, last year that would have gone in and they would probably have salvaged something from a game like this. And this year, everything's going against them. I mean, it's a bit scrambly. And maybe there's a foul or two. The referee lets it go. Smith gets a flicker just in front of Bruce. And it could have hit the bar and come back this way. But the way things are going for Arsenal, it just had to drop the other side.
So it's still 2-0 to Liverpool. Nicol.
Arsenal, to the credit, Brian, have not given this game up yet. I mean, we're into the last dying seconds of it almost, I think, and they're still looking to get something out of it, which is, I'm sure, George Graham will be very pleased about.
4 minutes still to go. Well, they're used to dramatic climaxes here, Arsenal, when they come here. Everybody remembers that one 3 years ago. Trying to get it back to Perry Groves there. It might come out to Dean Saunders, reacting very quickly there. Houghton then in turn tries to get it through to Rosenthal. It was cut out, and it was as well that it was by Tony Adams, and here's Merson coming away. But Grobbelaar now, look. And a ball that goes straight to Lee Dixon for Arsenal, but Mulvey now can pick it up for Liverpool. Walters finding Houghton, and now Saunders. Thomas is on this side of the field. Groves gets it back to Winterburn. Steve Bold now for Arsenal. Up to Wright, knocked down nicely by him for Alan Smith. And Groves now making a mistake, or getting a better of a mistake from Michael Thomas, but again Grobbelaar there for Liverpool. Thomas. Walters. Played there apparently by the referee. Smith, Rocastle, Dixon away on the right. Rosenthal struggling to get back to hold him off, and in the end does so. And gets the throw.
Well, he's got number 3 on his back, so he should feel quite comfortable down in that left back position, Brian, but he's worked hard. I would think he's a very difficult player to mark, you know, because he's so unorthodox. There's not many players who play like he does. He's a one-off, really.
Jump by Adams. Here's Merson. Carter. Free kick. Just see what happens to this free kick, Kevin, and then you can officially name your man of the match. Let's see what happens now first. I think There's going to be another substitution made. Liverpool making one now. Mike Marsh. No, McManaman's coming on. Steve McManaman. No, it's Marsh coming on. And Michael Thomas is coming off.
You suddenly start to look at Liverpool, and they've got now people like Marsh and McManaman on the bench, Barnes injured, Rush injured. I mean, it's colossal really now, isn't it?
Robillard knocking it away. Goes Merson. Rob Jones with the throw for Liverpool. Already touching it off. Saunders header, good one. Marsh hitting it forward. Saunders looking for some more of the action. Just a slight mistake there by Tony Adams, leaving the ball free for Dean Saunders, who's got Steve Nicol on the far side in support, but a poor ball there by Nicol. Rocastle now taking it up. Arsenal looking for a late consolation here at Canfield, but not with a fast line.
There's Nicol getting back. He made a mistake on the edge of their box, and he's suddenly come back and tidied it up.
Marsh, Mulvey, Marsh, Mulvey, and the flag is up. Let's officially name the man of the match now.
Well, I think there's no doubt in my mind that Mark Wright, not just for his performance, but his leadership as well. He's led from the front, really. I think he's had a terrific game, and my man of the match is Mark Wright.
Rose, Wright chasing that one, but the ball beats both him and Alan Smith. Out of play. So we're into time added on, 4 stoppages at the end of 90 minutes. And it looks as though Liverpool's long, impressive march will continue. They'll have won 12 of their last 19 games and lost only one of them, and that in the Rumbelows Cup to Peterborough. Rocastle to Carter. Long-range shot, good work again by Robillard. Well, he made 2 stunning saves in the first half. It was another pretty good one.
He's had a terrific game, Brian, and I picked him as my man of the match at West Ham, and he didn't give me any of his champagne, so I'm trying Mark Wright this time.
The final whistle. Liverpool have won by 2 goals to 0. Jan Mulvey's penalty after 44 minutes. And in the second half, a lovely individual goal from Ray Houghton that made it 2-0. Liverpool now reduce the lead at the top of Manchester United down to 8 points. The chase is on. Let's have a word with Graham Souness with Gary Newborn.
Well, Graham, you're on a roll at the moment. What about tonight's performance?
Well, I thought the second half were a lot better. The first half, I felt Arsenal were better than us. We were fortunate, we got a break, we got a penalty, and I felt the second half we improved. Second goal was a great goal, well finished. I thought Roy finished it brilliantly.
Well, what about the championship? You've got to be thinking about catching up.
There's 3 points tonight. It's 3 points tonight, and that's as far as we're looking. Our intention is to try and stay involved right up to the very end in May, and we must win every game, and we must rely on the people in front of us slipping up. So we've got 3 good points tonight.
Thank you, Graham.
Points. Thank you.